The subject of this video is understanding your deep spiritual awakening and soul healing journey. So you will hear God mentioned a lot with my intention that you come to understand God better and experience your connection and oneness with God. Everyone has some conceptualization of God, and it varies from those who don't believe in God to what others think God is and what religions tell you God is. And they all seem to have a little different interpretation of that. For this video, I'm going to start with my experience of God, not from any book or teacher, but from my direct experience. And you'll find it's consistent with what many meditators have also experienced. To me, God is the essence of everything. And essence refers not just to atomic structure or substance, but to the creative imagination and intelligence and force that is behind all form, behind all appearances. Everything is part of God. It's one with God. It's unity with God. Not as a being or an entity, but rather the intelligence, the substance, the essence of all existence. And therefore, whether people know it or not, everything is unified in the intelligent, loving field of consciousness that we call God. Behind all appearances, everything is one. And there is no separation, except for the separation that each individual sustains in his or her own consciousness. The separation is actually a perception that is sustained by the interpretation of the five major senses. Artists who have images and visions, inventors who conceptualize new ways of doing things, musicians who hear music in their dreams and in their minds, and those on spiritual paths who have sudden deep realizations, and those who experience moments of illumination and inspiration. They're all tapping into this intelligence, this unity consciousness that underlies all existence. And all of this and more is what I call God. God is the essence behind all thoughts, all ideas, all desires, all manifestations, the building blocks of all experiences, the feelings and the subtle and the gross energies that creates and manifests all comes from God, is part of God, is one with God. So both the subtle and gross energies, that includes forms and ideas, the imagination, and consciousness itself, brings it all together and holds it all together, and that is what we call God. God is the underlying principle and the consciousness in all things, and is also the energy that unifies all things in what we call and what we know as love. God is the underlying principle and consciousness in all things, and the energy that unifies all things is what we know as love. In a deep place in the ocean of love is God. This is where we were born. We are all created in an ocean of love. And when you remember that or experience that ocean of love, you realize you are one with God. And that love is the unifying essential energy behind and underneath all form, all structure, all imagination, the entire creation. Love is actually the substance and power that creates our entire reality at all levels, in all dimensions, in all forms. But of course, it's not usually recognized as such because most people think love is an emotional feeling, but it is way more than that. So, for all of these reasons and a lot more, we say God is love. And since God is the one unifying energy and intelligence inside of all creation, God's often referred to as the One. Now, when you make a call to God, the desire to connect with God, say in a prayer or meditation, and you hold an intention of connecting with and merging with God, you are calling to the essential underlying intelligence and universal presence of love. And because we're all composed of the same love essence, we experience a blending into the one unifying field presence. And this is experienced as a very deep form of peace. It's a felt sense of expansion and space and a feeling of being one with the entire creation. This is the highest of all human experiences, and it is what lies behind all of the inspired holy books that have ever been written. Now, as incredible as this experience is, the big question is, how do you experience God? Well, there are a lot of techniques, a lot of different processes that people have used throughout history to capture the experience. And we are, in fact, driven to seek that connection. It's what ultimately lies behind all of the adventures, all of human curiosity, all discoveries, all searching. It's what drives many to get high in sports or to go through deprivation or to utilize drugs or to find some other ways of altering states of consciousness. But the most fundamental and proven methods include meditation, which are practices to quiet the mind. The mind has this incessant chatter with most people, not everybody, but most people. And that clutter is what distracts you from the connection. So when you can quiet the mind, this is when you can hear that still small voice that is mentioned in the Bible, in the Old Testament, in 1 Kings 19:12. It's the story of the prophet Elijah, where it says, God is not in the wind or the earthquake or the fire, but God speaks in a still small voice. And those who have practiced meditation for some time know what this means. The communication is very subtle. That's why it's called a still small voice. And it takes practice to enable yourself to attune to it and to hear it, and also to understand it and interpret it. So we use intentions to access the divine. And intentions are words that focus your requests and your desires. And you can put it in words. You could accompany it with feelings and desires. And sometimes this is narrowed down into specific mantras, or perhaps repeating words or names of God. Both methods of meditation and verbalizing intentions have their place. Both are useful. Both are important. So whether you speak them out loud or you repeat them in your mind, there is a calling that you put out. Some of the other methods that people have used are rather cumbersome. They provide only fleeting and sometimes even dangerous means of trying to connect. I'm speaking of certain drugs or putting themselves through deprivation or ascetic practices. When you close your eyes and take a deep breath and settle into your inner space with meditation, you can quiet all the distractions of the senses. And the senses are what sustain the perceptions of separation, or what is called duality. And that is separation from the rest of existence. So it perceives you to be separate from everything else. And the separation is what results in many forms of defensiveness, protection, trying to survive and to address the challenges of being attacked or struggling or suffering or pain or perceived threats. Through speaking your intentions of being at one with God, and some people use the phrase the one or just the word one as a mantra, and that can certainly work. Some people use the word love, that can work. Even the word God can work. It's a matter of practicing it. And the intention is to merge your consciousness with the highest enlightened awareness of the soul, which is God. And so you merge with love and into unity consciousness, oneness with the Creator, with God, with the substance that God is, which is love. So this means creating no difference between your heart and the soul, and the purity of God's love and presence, intelligence, desire. And when you do that successfully, you can experience all the deepest secrets, the understanding, the realizations, the beauty, the wisdom, the awareness of all of the essential qualities of God in creation. And this is the most wonderful experience, and it's available to you. That in itself strikes me as an absolute miracle, that we can actually find God, meet God, merge with God, become one with God. And the way you enter into this connection is by opening your heart to the fullness of God. And you'll find there is a loving, intelligent, divine presence that is composed of the deepest beauty that you could ever sense, feel, experience. The heart meditation that I put on YouTube last week is your door opener to what I'm talking about. Now, when you make this connection, you're going to change, transform from the inside out. Your presence in the world and in the lives of those that you touch become a healing presence. So if you also hold an intention then of being a channel of the essence of the fullness of the qualities of God, you bring a deep, broad form of healing and light and transformation and goodness and blessings to everyone around you. As you come closer to merging with the essential presence of God, you'll find that you experience a sense of being at one with love and with God. And this takes you out of the illusions of day-to-day life. It opens you to a higher level realization of the reality that you live in. Your day-to-day life and the experiences of pain and struggles and suffering and illnesses show you where you need to bring that divine presence and the light of that presence. And as you bring in light, which is also the radiance of the soul, into the areas of your life that have been having difficulties, you find that there's an automatic purification process. You could call it a healing. You could call it transformation, transmutation. You could call it a divine healing. And you hold and radiate more light in turn. So what you'll find is that your own being, your body, your energy field gets brighter and brighter and brighter. And then you have more of an effect to shine that light into the lives of other people around you. You literally become a bright light. I'm not speaking metaphorically here. I can see the degree of light that fills and surrounds people because I've developed and refined clairvoyant sight. So I can see this energy. And I can tell you, the less ego you have, the brighter the light in your aura. So I can look at people and I can tell them if they've been doing clearing work and healing work, if they've been meditating. If a warning light comes on in your car, what do? Do you cut the wires to the light so you don't see the flashing light anymore? Or do you utilize that light as a guide to where you need to put your attention to fix and take care of the problem? Well, obviously, if you cut the light and cut the wires to the light and ignore the issue that triggered the warning light, it'll probably lead to some more problems with your car. But if you take the warning as a guide of what needs to be done, you can happily keep moving along on your journey. So your life challenges are here to show you the areas to which you can bring more light. Your challenges are like those warning lights in your car. You see, your life is really quite an amazing, complex, interactive virtual reality. And it's all designed to lead you progressively to go deeper and higher and broader and have more profound realizations of the fullness of the qualities of what God is. That's our journey. When you have a beautiful experience of feeling the wonderful connections of divine love, and you realize and see and feel the light and the beauty that radiates from your soul and from the divine, you then want to hold on to the experience. You don't want it to slip away. So you're impelled to seek it more. You know, it feels good. It feels wonderful. It can be blissful. It can be wonderful and euphoric. And so you want it to sustain. You want to seek it more until it becomes a more sustained presence. One of the frustrations, however, is that the experience often slips away. Now, why haven't you been able to hold on to the enlightened beauty of the wonderful fleeting experiences? The reason is because something in your outer world, of all the experiences and the sensations going on around you, grab your attention and they divert your focus from something inside, which connects you with the divine, to a whole lot of things going on the outside that are unrelated and probably mundane. Now, your five senses are designed to help you survive and enjoy the physical universe, but they do very little, or maybe nothing at all, to help you directly have the experience of the intangible divine qualities which actually enrich your life. You don't actually experience the intangible qualities like joy and happiness and fun and contentment and thrills and passion and beauty and love and bliss You don't experience those with the five senses. They may participate in some ways, of course, but they're not what enable you to have those experiences. Those are all internal. And for the most part, they are very positive and they feel wonderful. And they are what help you connect with the soul. Your feelings are what open the doorway to the higher realizations, the higher vibrations and frequencies, which are love and light. So the five senses are not there to put a block in the way. So the five senses are really not the place to look for the ways of sustaining the enlightened consciousness, the connections with God and the divine, and the deeper and truer aspects of divine love. But that's where most people look. So rather, they're savored through a different kind of connection. They're only accessed through interconnections. The main, most important of the interconnections comes through your intentions and practices, and especially as they're practiced through the heart. And they can lead to a state of very deep knowing where you live forever in states of beauty. And to maintain it, you build a part of your being that holds and contains it, so it doesn't seep out and slip away from you. And the way you hold the essence of these essential, wonderful, good energies, which inhabit the qualities of God, is by building the aspects of you where they are held. We're all evolving souls, and this is something that will go on for a very long time. And the enlightened aspect of the soul, which is one with God, love and light, and consciousness, lives in this beautiful, expanded, fulfilled state all the time. At first, a big part of your existence is about physical survival. This is where a large portion of humanity resides. But as you find ways to take care of your survival needs, you move up to enhancing your life, probably first of all in physical ways, but eventually in deeper and more spiritual ways, until you come to the place where an important function of your life is to build and contain and live with the deeper presence of God, love, light, consciousness in you, through you, around you, all the time. This is what your evolution is leading to. The evolution of your soul is the measure of how much of that you have been working toward and you still hold on to and contain. This is the deepest and richest of experiences you can have. And once you grasp what this is about, it becomes more important to you than anything external or material. It's what lies behind all of your reasons for watching this video and for all the spiritual practices that you have engaged in, or maybe are still engaging in. It reflects itself in all the choices you make. And you do this every day. It represents how you spend your time, how you spend your energy, your resources. So you can gain some idea of where you are on your journey by simply looking at what is important to you. And that is evidenced by where you focus your attention, what's in your life. To build and hold the sacredness of love, light, and the divine, you work at both the inner and the outer. The outer consists of your choices, your actions, your words. Are your thoughts, words, and actions supporting and leading to holding the spiritual light? Well, if you are violating your own internal codes of conduct, consistent with nature and the qualities of the soul, you're not living in integrity. If your choices violate the free will and rights of others, you are not building a container of light, but rather darkness. In either instance, you are creating a reality. It's either going to be light, love, and fun, or darkness, gloom, and misery. To be more specific, lying, cheating, stealing, and harming others creates and carries a lower frequency vibration than, say, generosity and caring and loving kindness. So this is not really a value judgment or a moral position. It's an observation, and they don't lead you to the deeper God presence and the fulfillment that your soul's evolution is wanting to unfold. When you think of a refined being who is an evolved saint or master, you normally think of the highest qualities that you can imagine, an ideal that you would like to emulate. So look at your life in the areas not aligned with the highest spiritual soul awareness and purify them, clear them, heal them, dissolve them. And you can best set about doing this through meditation. And you can best set about doing this through meditations that take you into direct connections with these things, which can be eradicated, deleted, weakened, dissolved. I've already recorded some meditations on video to help you, and I have many more on my website under the Spirituality and Enlightenment section. And I suggest you take advantage of these resources that I've made available. And until next time, I'm Jonathan Parker.